Hello. Good afternoon. I hope you're all having a wonderful Christmas break. It is Tuesday, the 26th of December. And in fact, 3 years ago on this day, I made a very brave decision. Well, I don't know if it was brave. I didn't really lose a lot of money over it if it wasn't, it wasn't thousands and thousands of pounds I was putting at risk. But I did decide to believe. And that's been my theme of the word today, right? Because I wanted to bring that energy into this podcast. And I spoke a little bit about it on the podcast yesterday when we spoke about the root chakra. So if you haven't had an opportunity to check that out, then please do. Of course, you're here. You may know who I am. Of course, I really do think you do by now. You've been on this journey with me. Or you might just found me. And you might just be listening for the first time. And therefore, I'd love to welcome you properly and officially. I am Rebecca Nichols. This is my podcast, Royal Treats. And what I am doing is 12 days of podcasting to celebrate 12 days of Christmas. And I'm giving you insights and wisdom and a little bit of a window to my world and what I've been experiencing as a human being on this planet throughout my life, but also just really honing in on the past 3 years since that big day 3 years ago when I decided to put some money on the lottery and I became an overnight millionaire. What that meant for me and what that meant for my life and what direction it took my life in and who I am now as a human being, how I've evolved as a human being in those 3 years, and it's not necessarily been about the money. The money's been amazing because it's been able to facilitate change through education and access to education, access to coaching. So that's where money's been really, really helpful. I've had some amazing experiences. I've gone to destinations that were weren't even, what I would dream about, Barbados, Caribbean, Mexico, Dubai, flying first class to Canada, staying in the Fairmont Banff, having a week out there doing some amazing things in the snow. And I was just looking at the photos today, actually. But really creating some amazing memories and experiences. And that's what money can bring us. Money can bring us exploration. And it ties in very, very nicely to what I'm going to be talking and sharing with you guys today on the podcast. We're going to talk about the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra. Let's get that out. The sacral chakra, yes. The Svadhisthana, if you're saying it in Sanskrit. And what it means. Now, this is the abode of the vital force. This is who you are as a creative being. This is when this chakra gets active. It's around about 7 and 8 years old. It's actually where we become separated from our parents, more independent, more in tune with who we really are, and more aware. So, when I think about keywords around the sacral chakra, I think about independent. I think about self-assured. I think about imagination. I think about warmth. I think about enthusiasm. Optimistic and optimism. Happy. Creative. But also that concern for others and that empathy which is needed and found in this chakra, because we're really dealing with senses and emotions and feelings, and we're dealing with sexuality. Now, you're not really dealing with sexuality at the age of 7 and 8, but, it's conversations I have with my son now. He's very aware. He's got this willy. This is what it does, potentially, when you grow up. with consent, of course, that these things happen, and that's how life is created. So all life is created here in this chakra, specifically because this is dealing with the reproduction system in the woman. And that's what it's connected to. It's also connected to the crescent moon, which is the symbol for the second chakra, symbolizing the womb and femininity. But it's just as important if you're a man to connect your divine feminine. So this is where I think men step more into their power when they become more feminine. I think it's a beautiful thing to see men embrace femininity and embrace that emotional side of them without suppressing it or feeling the need not to deny it. And we spoke a little bit about vulnerability yesterday on the podcast, and I found that being really open and vulnerable about feelings can take you into a really powerful place, and obviously admiring that as bravery. I admire men that can come to me in a way that shows they're vulnerable, shows their feelings, shows that they've been hurt, and can express themselves in that way. And it's something I've always admired in relationships that I've had and men that have been really close to me, because it just shows emotional intelligence. And I think as we're evolving as beings, and well, I can speak for myself, and I know there's a lot of women out there who will feel the same way. As we're evolving as the women we need to be, and stepping into our own power and embracing our own femininity, we kind of need someone who to match that. We need men to be willing to be really meet us there in that space where we can really connect emotionally. And really fully express ourselves in a way that is also bringing trust into that space as well. Because actually, it's not so easy to talk about feelings and pain and even trauma. And this chakra deals with a lot of inner child stuff when I'm doing the coaching with women on this chakra, and we're dealing with deep-rooted stuff. I mean, I'm only really touching the surface of what this chakra is. It's a very important chakra. And in fact, this chakra will connect to your third eye so that you're really able to see the vision for your life, but also create that vision. Nothing happens without that vision in your third eye, but nothing happens without creation as well. So the two really do pair up and connect very nicely. And I use this energy tapping and releasing, but also connecting meditations with those two chakras, which are really, really powerful as well. And you can find those if you look throughout the rest of the podcast. So you can scroll back. It's quite a lot now. This would be my 36th podcast, I think, so far since I started podcasting in the summer. And I'll be honest, let's talk about creation, because we're in this space now. I knew I wanted to create something really this year that I was going to be proud of. It wasn't really about anybody else. Of course, it was about me finding and tuning and fine-tuning my skills, my abilities, my talents and gifts. And this is what the sacral chakra is all about. It's all about creativity and who you are as a creative being. Now, it's something that I will go on about and I'll say over and over and over again. You only have this one purpose in this life, and which is to create. And you just got to look at life as if it's a blank space. And that with that vision and that blank space, and you put pen to paper and you start writing stuff down, powerful things can really happen in your world. But you got to have that confidence, and you got to have that belief, And you've got to have this. This is actually the chakra that governs your self-worth. So if you don't feel worthy, and I talk about the money story in the root, and I talk about feeling worthy of abundance and abundance being your birthright. But, you've really got to feel worthy of the skills that you have as well. Feel worthy of your abilities. Understand that your abilities mean something. That your gifts are incredible, powerful, purposeful gifts, and that the world needs you here on this planet. You serve a great purpose. And I guess that is a question that comes up for a lot of people and a lot of people that I'll coach. How do I know what I'm here to do? How do you discover your purpose? How does it actually make sense? How can I make sense of it? How do I know? And I think this will always come into gut feeling and intuition, which is perfect because, again, it's all about the gut feeling and intuition, or the woman's intuition, which is actually the uterus. Women have that women's intuition more than men do. But this is why I think women can really support men in creating the vision for themselves and their life. Like, I think I've been able to really fine tune into a lot of people that are around me and really see their gifts even when they can't see their own gifts. Maybe it's just being a woman and being a bit more of a consciously aware woman, but I can really see people's potential and kind of go, you've really got a knack at that, or you've really got a gift for that, or you're really good at communicating, or you're really good at organising. You've got this skill and you're good at it, and you're really passionate about it, or you enjoy doing it. That's where it's I don't even know if I want to call it a calling. It's kind of like, I could sit and talk to people all day, right? I really could. And I could sit and talk about this stuff all day, and I really am excited about it. I think it's clear in a lot of the stuff that I do. It's not easy work either, but it's really rewarding. And, I could have been doing this work a very long time ago had I believed in myself more, because I'm able to sit down with people and really dissect a lot of stuff and really kind of give them and hold that mirror in front of them and go, look, this is who you are. And they go, what? I go, yeah, look, this is who you are. Look how amazing you are. Look how many gifts you have. Look at your talent. Look how beautiful you are. Whatever. I'm able to shine some light in some dark areas in people's lives and able to get them to see how amazing they really are. So I said, look, coaching for me is not about the conversations that I have with my students, my clients, people on my programs, etc. It's always about the conversations I'm able to facilitate that they have with themselves. And that's powerful, because the conversations we have with ourselves are the most important conversations, because in the space of pep talking and, I am good at this, I can do this, this is what I enjoy to do, this is what I'm here to do, or I'm rubbish at this, I find this really difficult, I'm not that great at this, there's people out there who are better than me. I've been coaching this year mainly after having a coach last year and the year before, and going through a series of lots of development in myself, finding myself. I wasn't able to coach anyone until I got to a level in my life where I was able to understand who I am and what I'm here to do, and also just to really understand, is this what I want? Is this really what I want to do? Do I really take pleasure in this? Am I excited about this? Does this really light me up? Without money being involved. Because actually building a coaching business, you can make very good money from coaching, don't get me wrong, but starting out anywhere in business, the first 6 months, year, it might be tough, it might be tough. It might not be easy, getting yourself out there, getting yourself known, putting yourself out there, showing up every day, creating the content, being vulnerable, which I have been doing on this journey, and you've been watching me be very vulnerable about the things that have been happening in my own life. But the excitement I get and the reward I get from the work I do is phenomenal, because the women are coming to me and they're like, wow, I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm this person now. I can't believe it. Every 3 months you're changing. We're changing all the time. We're growing all the time. We're growing daily even. I'm growing daily because I'm consciously aware of my thoughts all the time. I'm writing stuff down. Whatever comes up for me, I might sit and meditate on it. I might release it. So I'm like that 1% who's actually self-transforming. There's not many people that are self-transforming. And I want to really encourage all of the people that come into my path to really think and analyse themselves more and self-transform and self-heal, because this is the real power here, not in someone telling you what to be and what to do, because that's not helpful. It's not useful, because until you can be aware of your own bullshit, you're not going to be able to correct it, and if someone else is constantly having to point out, the self-sabotage or your shadow is getting in the way, I know and see when I'm being an arsehole. I know it, I know it, and then I have to correct it, and then I have to forgive myself because the shadows come in and the shadow's taken over and the ego comes in. And, you can see it in a lot of people when ego starts to take over. And maybe even after a few drinks, you might have been experienced over Boxing Day. It's Boxing Day, Christmas Day. You might be experiencing it in your own environment where people start to have a few and they start getting a bit brave and they start to really tell you what they think. I'm going to really tell you what I think of this situation here and what I really think of you. So I want to just share with you a book that I'm reading at the moment by Sarah Knight. I think it's the magic. No, was it the magic? The life-changing magic of not giving a fuck. Beautiful, right? How to stop spending time you don't have doing the things you don't want to do with people you don't like. Sarah Knight. So I got that for Christmas. I'm totally excited to be reading that as well. Although I think I've been on that journey for a little bit this year. I'm really kind of honing in on who I am, what I want, and who I want to be around, and who I want to give my time to. And that's something I talked about a little bit yesterday. So the second chakra, this first chakra is all about grounding and knowing self and connecting to self and understanding you are your own person, and understanding that you can actually manifest a lot in the physical. It talks about health and money and family, and I spoke about that yesterday. So we are going into the second chakra here. We're discovering movement and change, and the element of the sacral chakra is water, which is fluid, which means flow. So with the second chakra is the yang. So the first chakra is the yang energy, and it meets the yin energy of the second chakra, creating movement. And this is where we actually start to do stuff. Now, whether you're aware of it or not, your sacral chakra is active if you're doing anything, unless you're sitting down all day and not moving. Your sacral chakra is movement, and so whenever you're moving, you're in that zone or of creativity, or whenever you're doing something, whether it be cooking or cleaning or writing or drawing or painting or talking, you are in the movement zone. And so the earth of the first chakra is now fluid with the water element of the second. So this is actually just showing you how connected the chakras are, and how important each chakra is, and how significant it is that we have alignment and balance in all of them for us to be who we need to be and have the life we want to have. It's very simple. Be times do equals have, and it's something that I've shared with you guys before, and it's very, very powerful. So the second chakra is associated with water, with the moon. And so when I think about creativity and I think about who I am as a woman, I also think I'm a goddess. I am a bloody goddess because I'm a woman. I create life, and which is a beautiful thing as a woman to do. And the moon influences our desires, our emotions. It ebbs and flows. So do the energies within the sacral chakra. Reproduction, sexuality. Now, I know this is something that I've dropped in on a few lives on my Instagram, and something that I've talked about in a few of my blog posts, but emotions derive from the Latin word, and it means to move out. So this is where you feel your feelings and bring awareness to your feelings, but don't stay there in that space for too long. Really process what you need to process, accept, let go, clear, cry, scream. I don't know, but whatever you got to do to get that feeling out of you or to clear that feeling. This is like when we suppress our emotions, we have this build up, and then we just kind of probably explode or break down or have a meltdown. And the thing is, we can't go through life like that, So I tend to I've been crying a lot this year, but not in a bad way, just in a kind of a very releasing, cleansing, or very grateful approach to crying, where I'm just, maybe something's come up and it's an emotion, and it's an emotion of joy, but it's making me feel. Even sometimes I'm with Tristan and we have these special little moments. I find myself getting a bit teary, and I think, oh God, what's going on here? But I let it be. Don't suppress it, really allow it to come in and flow through you. So the sacral chakra is about movement, and it is about change, and our consciousness thrives on change. It really does, people. So this is why I say to people, look, nothing changes. Let's embrace change. Let's look at change as a new beginning and a new, or even if the change in your eyes is not so great, it's a sudden change. I know, obviously, but I think the universe will put us in positions because it wants to challenge us and it wants us to grow. And so that's why I'm always grateful for change, even if it comes in ways where I think I wasn't ready for that change. I didn't want that change. Life was good. Thanks, universe. Leave me alone. But as I said, all the things that I've overcome in this life, and I've gone into lots of darkness, more than I've been in light. I've always come out a stronger, more wiser, better being for it. So it's important that we do recognise that change has to come for a reason. So desires and emotions that are suppressed in our bodies do cause blockages, and I think the sacral chakra, when we're not dealing with our feelings and we're not dealing with our emotions, can cause some sickness in our bodies. And I'll talk about the blockages a little bit more later, so we can go through those. But the natural energetic rhythm of the body is going to be impaired. Yeah. And that's going to prevent flow and prevent movement. So this is why even just getting up, getting out, exercising, going to do some yoga, going to the gym, whatever you need to do, just moving your body is such a powerful thing. And it releases and relaxes in many ways. So from the unity of the root chakra, we actually begin to expand our consciousness from the awareness of the individual to the awareness of others. So this is where clairsentience is associated with the sacral chakra, which is, sense. The ability to sense other people's emotions, also called empathy. And this is where we find it, obviously, in that chakra as well. So the colour is orange, the element is water, and the sense is taste. And so when we're thinking about sacral chakra, I think about pleasure, I think about passion, I think about purpose. I think about those 3 P's the most, because I guess pleasure we find in food and taste, and so it's all about those explosions of senses when we're tasting all these different foods, which you'll probably been doing yesterday and today, really kind of feeling all those wonderful things exploding in your mouth. And I definitely did come up with a bit of a concoction yesterday. It was like puff pastry, mince pie, Ferrero Rocher, chocolate ice cream. Yeah, don't judge me. It was amazing. I was like, ooh, a little bit of creativity. So this is why I think when we think about creativity, baking, cooking, art, drawing. Even me, when I get into my painting, even just painting just the walls, or if I'm painting furniture, I've got a little bit of a thing, guys, for painting furniture, really old furniture. And I've painted this desk in my room and some of the other furniture in my room as well. And I'm very proud of it because it was not so expensive furniture, but it's very Victorian furniture. And I kind of took it on as a project and made it look all fancy. And I love creativity in my home. I love creating new things and expanding on creativity as well. So going into 2018, think about where can you create in your own life, where can you declutter, where can you clear out to allow more space for you to create. Think about your creative space. If you're like me, you're a writer, and I'm working from home a lot of the time, my space is very sacred, and all the work that I do, I kind of have to have a right kind of energy, and I'm into that whole feng shui stuff. You've got to be, because it's, again, clearing that energy, clearing that space. And actually my boyfriend, my ex-boyfriend, got me into understanding about energy in your home, and he would come in and be like, if the house wasn't good feng shui, he'd probably have a heart attack or something. Not quite, but it was useful. It was really useful, and it really got me thinking about how I feel when I've got clear space. And the first thing I did this morning when I got up, I went into the kitchen, I emptied all the bins, and I tidied up, put dishwasher on, mopped the floors. And afterwards I stood there, I said, I feel better about myself. And you know what it is like, so clearing some space and creating a space for you to create movement. Because clutter is clutter, and it makes us feel uncomfortable in many ways. And so something I've really applied to my life, in the past couple of years, really. I have a cleaner every week, and I don't even know how I would live without my cleaner now. Really, really helpful, especially I've been at home with Tristan for the past 7 months. It really just helps me that I can then not worry so much about the cleaning and really focus on things that do light me up, like the writing, like creating my programs, like the coaching, lots more writing, lots more creating programs next year as well. Like just expansion on my creativity is where I'm going, because I kind of know who I am as a creative being now. And I think you know who you are as a creative being. So this is, what's inside you. You know what you love to do. It doesn't have to be so amazing. It could be the most simplest things that just really light up your life. How do you apply that and make something of that? You might love cleaning. Cleaning for you might just be amazing. I say to my cleaner, do you really love cleaning? She's like, oh, I love it. And I'm like, good for you. Not me. I say I'm a goddess, not a domestic goddess. So essential oils that I love to use when working with this chakra are jasmine, ylang ylang, patchouli, clary sage, geranium and rose, which are really all essential essential oils. And crystals, I would use coral, tiger's eye, carnelian. And the foods associated with this chakra are orange skin fruits and vegetables, peaches, carrots, apricots, sweet potato. God, I love sweet potato, I must admit. I'm a sweet potato lover. You know, anything orange is going to help with that chakra. Yeah. So let's talk about balanced energy. Let's talk about how we can keep that energy balanced in that chakra. Obviously, guys, this is just a small amount of information I'm giving you. There's so much more to learn about the chakras. And so I encourage you to seek knowledge for yourself. And if you're interested in obviously working with me and getting deeper into this and really clearing out and unblocking a lot of the things that may be inside you that are limiting you and keeping you out of alignment and not balanced in your energy. And it's funny because someone messaged me yesterday and they said, what is the chakra system? Or what is it though? I mean, why is it important and why do we have to know this? So I thought, yes, well, it's an unseen thing. A bit like your heart and your lungs and your kidneys and your liver and your intestine. You know that it exists inside you. And you might even know what they look like. You might have seen a diagram. You might have learnt this at school and you learnt biology. But it's unseen in so many ways, but you know it's there and it's working, right? So the chakra system is your energy system, is who you truly are as a being, as a light energy being, as everything is energy. It's your true self. And it's a very subtle system, but it's a very effective system and it's a very necessary system, just like every other system in your body. Lymphatic, respiratory, circulatory, endocrine. We all have these different systems that help us remove, that do what they need to do. Food is processed, blood is pumping. All these amazing things that are happening to us that we probably just take for granted, right? Blood is just pumping around my body. I just expect it to happen. And that's how wonderful it is to be here and experiencing this life, right? Like, totes. Incredible. So this is your subtle, not even so subtle. I don't even want to use subtle. It's your energy system. It's your spirit system. It's the essence of who you are as a being. And keeping your chakras open and balanced is the key to living this life to its full potential. But because we're not really educated on this, you know, we are educated on it, but we're educated on it through religion. And that's how religion's been portrayed to us over the years, because I can look at the chakra system in every single religion. I can see the chakra system. I can see it's being explained in different ways, in different perspectives, but it's all coming back to enlightenment. And when you get to the crown chakra, and we will get to the crown chakra, and we're on day 2 now. We've got 7 days of just going through the chakras, and I'm going to be touching on different other subjects. You'll understand once you've gone through each chakra and you've worked your way up, that you will become an enlightened being, and that you're supposed to be an enlightened being, that we're all supposed to be enlightened beings and experience this life as divine conscious beings. So stick around. Hopefully, things will start to make more sense over the next few days. And if you're at the end of the 12 days and you're like, you know what, I need to find out more about this. I need to dig deeper. I need to have more knowledge of self. I need to know what's limiting me. I need to know if I'm blocked. I want to become unblocked. Do I think I'm blocked? How do I become unblocked? These are all the things that we can have a conversation with about as well. I give free consultations to people who are interested in coming onto my program. So please do contact me, and the info will be in this podcast, at the end of the podcast, or you can just email me info@queenofmylife.london and I'll get back to you. Because I'm excited really to do this work, because it's such a knock-on effect. Once I find that one person gets enlightened, I feel that, they want to help more people become enlightened. And I think that's the domino effect of how we can all make this world a better place, and we all can coexist with peace and harmony. So balanced energy in this chakra would be creative, social, and I spoke about that before, friendly, emotional, intuitive, friendly. I'm going to say friendly as much as I can, because you can't go wrong if you're friendly. People get aggressive very easily. People's egos can kick in very quickly, and you'll find that you might match someone's ego, and you're coming at them friendly, but they're matching you with ego, and they're matching you with aggression, because they're blocked in one area or another. One of their chakras is blocked, or maybe all of their chakras are blocked. So friendly is who you are as a being, what you demonstrate in this chakra. But it's not always possible for everyone to receive that friendliness. I'm very friendly. People think I'm flirting. I'm like, no, I'm just really friendly. I like people, and I care for people, and I express love in many ways possible. And so no one really gets how I can love so many people and just be so loving and welcoming. And, I don't really have that attitude with anyone. I don't really have problems with people. I'm well received. Of course, there's people in my life that I won't have in my life, just because I believe them not to be positive, and their behaviour and how they choose to live their life, it doesn't align with how I choose to live. So that's where discernment kicks in, people, and that's where I think we'll talk a lot more about that in the third eye. Oh, what time was I now? So we've only got 7 minutes left. So, yeah, let's get through this. Imaginative, uplifting, concern for others, clairsentient, which is all about the senses and empathy, attuned to your own feelings. Yeah, really, really important that you are attuned to your own feelings, and that you're happy. That you're choosing happiness. Yeah, let's choose it. Let's choose happiness. Let's create happiness even. But you also have a sense of belonging, which I think you will find a sense of belonging when you're in tune with your own feelings. I mean, that you're consciously creating your reality, or co-creating with other people, because you'll feel valued. You'll feel significant. Because you know that you're contributing to the world with your creativity. That makes sense. I'm pretty sure you know. Overactive, aggressive, very ambitious. So maybe too ambitious. So the ambition is more important than the concern for others, and I think that's why there's an imbalance there, right? Because some people are very power-seeking, manipulative, egocentric, over-ego in relationships, like really kind of trying so hard to make it happen, really keen, putting in all this effort to make it something. And that's when you're kind of like not in the flow. I always say relax, nothing's in control, let it be. Power-seeking, unable to be alone. So that's the overactive energy here, people, I'm talking about. Unable to be alone. I mean, I've spent a lot of this year on my own. I bloody loved it. I spoke about that in my podcast, Spiritual Solitude. I've really enjoyed it. I do believe that in 2018 I will venture out a little bit more and spread my wings. But I think I needed the time on my own. As I said, I needed to get into that creative space. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I have no problem being on my own. I really enjoy my own company. Obsessed with sex, so literally constantly thinking about sex, constantly wanting sex, and overindulgence. So that could be just in every area, right? If you're thinking about food, sex, I don't know, excessive drinking, things like that, where you're just too much overindulgent in life's pleasures, because this is obviously, we're dealing with pleasure in this chakra. But if you overindulge in pleasure, it's not a great thing. Underactive energy. So you kind of withdraw from the world. You could be shy, timid, fearful, frigid, sensitive, very sensitive. Now we all know there's very sensitive people out there, and I'm sensitive, but not in a way that I'm going to be butthurt. I'm not going to make it mean something about me because you can't be nice. Yeah. And I think that's what I'm teaching Tristan at the moment, is that, especially at that age when kids can be, you know, they can say things, they can say hurtful things, trying to get him to understand this is not about you, buddy. If people don't want to play with you, or people aren't going to be nice to you, you know, this is not about you. Don't make it about you. You're awesome. This is why I really want him to, like, get this stuff now and, like, understand who he is as a human being, so that he can feel more sure of self. And this is, again, the key word with the balanced energy is self-assured. Hides emotions is another underactive energy. Distrustful. So they just can't trust. They could be clingy. Low sex drive, or might feel guilty or feels guilt about sex. That sex is a bad thing. So I go more into this on the program, actually, because it seems to be such a chakra that everyone seems to be struggling with. And as you know, you're powerful creators. We're all really powerful creators, and you know we'll talk tomorrow about the solar plexus chakra, and we'll talk more about energy and power and taking that movement, matter and movement to create energy, a powerful energy. And this is powerful personal power, will, transformation. And so that's things we cover tomorrow. There's a few things I just want to, before I end up. Thanks, guys. You've been really patient and listening as I've been sharing about the sacral chakra today. And I hope it's given you a little bit more of an insight as to what's possible for you, that you are just here to create. There's nothing else you are here to do. It kind of makes life a lot more simple. And maybe take some expectations away from you as a human being. You know, you're only here to create from a space of who you are. So the chakra blockages are linked a lot with genital issues, sexual and infertility problems, being the fact that it is a sacral chakra and it's connected to your reproduction. In women specifically, it's connected to fibroids, endometriosis, pelvic inflammatory disease, menstrual dysfunction, ovarian cysts, and even cancer. In men, it's more linked to prostate problems and prostate cancer. But also it's connected to bowel disease, it's ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease and diverticulitis, rigid, so just really not flexible in a lot of the things that life has to bring you. You're kind of really stuck. Isolation, hip or sacral, iliac and joint problems, dehydration, appendix and appendicitis. So those are the few that are linked to that chakra. And that's if your chakra is blocked. Those are the things that are going to be happening. Well, I'm coming up for out of time. I've literally just got a minute left. And so thank you. I really appreciate this as day 2. I'm excited to share more with you and take you on this little bit more of a journey and help you get into alignment and really kickstart your 2018 with a clear vision of self and where you want to go and who you want to be in this life. There is possibility for your future. I want you to know that, and I believe in you. I've believed in myself this year to make my dreams come true. I know what's possible. I do. So thank you. I hope you have a lovely Boxing Day. Don't overindulge too much. And I will be back tomorrow to talk more about the chakras as we go into the solar plexus. Sending you lots of love and light. Take care.